Hi, Eric Gibaud, ericgibaud.com, and today, thanks to photosfera.com, I'm going to present you the Sony a5100. Let's start. This is a mirrorless camera with an interchangeable lens. Okay, so this is really small, so I'm going to start showing you around the buttons, all this, so you have an idea. First, there is no viewfinder, but the screen is flippable this way, so you can do some kind of vlogging. So I'll show you an example. So, vlogging test. Well, the other day someone told me I should not say vlogger and YouTuber, speaking about this screen that you can actually flip. And yes, you can also use it for self-portrait, self-video. You don't need to be a vlogger or YouTuber to do it, but well, I didn't think it was important to specify it. This guy was offended that I was speaking about vlogging and YouTubers speaking about flipping screen. Well, doesn't matter. This is the sound you get out of the microphone from the camera and the way it looks. Okay. But curiously, there is the screen has a size that is thought for video, and curiously there is no microphone jack. It means you will have to use an external recorder or use the included microphone, so the quality won't be maybe as good. Okay, there is no viewfinder, so it's going to limit a lot. Limit to the screen. The quality is not very good. It's under 1 million pixel. You can actually connect with Wi-Fi to your smartphone, and this is going to give you a better image on your smartphone screen than on this. Okay, but you can actually control the camera remotely. You have a small flash here. Okay, but there is no hot shoe, so it will limit a lot, many things you can do. And you have connection wise, you have USB and micro HDMI, Wi-Fi, and also NFC. So this is a camera that it lacks buttons, so there are many things you need to access via menu or on the screen, and that makes that maybe that camera you will use it a lot in automatic. Okay, the menus, they've added the Sony tile menu. So if I click on a menu, instead of going straight into the very complicated menu, there are some shortcuts to go to the area that may interest you. So I think this is okay for people who are not too sure how it works. But the buttons there are well placed, but I think it's limited. Okay, I'm going to tell you more about the camera. So this is a mirrorless camera. It's an APS-C with 24.3 megapixels. The bayonet mount, the lens mount, is E format, E Sony, and that is really good because it's the same you would use on an Alpha 6400 or 6100 or all these series. So I think this is good to have access to a wide range of lenses. Okay. You have an anti-dust system, so that's good. If you're swapping lenses, it's good that if some dust gets in there, it's getting clean automatically. But we must not forget that this camera was designed in 2014, so it's 7 years old. So the technology on board is a bit old now compared to what we do today, but it doesn't mean you cannot do great pictures with that. Just the technology has bettered since. Okay, so if we look at the ISO, Sony is really famous for having good ISO, but in this case, you feel it's a bit old. I mean, it goes from 100 to 25,600 ISO, but when you get to using it, I'll pass you some pictures now. I think up to 3200 ISO, you can save it. But honestly, I would not push over 1600 ISO. I think it's the maximum you can actually use it, okay? When you see a small camera like this, you think, well, but the battery is going to be really short probably. Well, I'm surprised. I mean, for a 7-year-old camera and a small size, the battery lasts 400 pictures. This is not the 500 pictures I really love to ask and to get, more than ask, I love to get. But 400 pictures on this battery, this is not bad. On the video, you get 75 minutes recording time on one charge, so it's not bad either for this battery size. I should say that the camera still, I mean, already at that time does not come with a charger. It comes with the charger to charge via USB port, but not an independent charger where you can remove the battery, place a battery in the charger, and do it. If you want to do that, you need to buy an optional charger for that. So this is something I've never understood, why they don't put a proper charger for the battery, but well, I tell you, because this is what it is, okay? If we look at video, well, it's important. I'm going to say something because I made a special video for that. I'll give you the link when I reviewed the Sony Alpha 6400, because many people are not aware of that. With Sony and some other brand, not every brand, but some brands, but Sony definitely yes, you don't get the same frame rates depending if you are using PAL system or NTSC system. Okay, so it's very important you know that, because many people check my video and say, yeah, I was looking for 24 images per second, I could not find it. Yes, because you were in PAL system, you need to be an NTSC. So I'm going to give you the speeds and the available format. If you're using the format AVCHD, Full HD, you get 1920 pixel by 1080, okay? In NTSC, you get 60 and 40 frames per second. But if you're on PAL system, you get only 50 frames per second, okay? In Full HD format MP4, file format MP4, you get a format that is 1440p by 10p, so it's not as wide, okay? And then in NTSC you get 30 frames per second, and in PAL you get 25 frames per second. And if you use your camera in XAVC, then you get Full HD only, no 4K in this camera, okay? You get 1920 by 1080p. In NTSC you get 60, 30 and 24p, and in PAL you get 50 and 25p. Okay, it's important that if you look for it and you don't find it, you are using the wrong system, okay? But very important, if you're going to change from one system to the other, the memory card is going to get formatted. So it's really important that if you already have things in your pictures in your camera or in your memory card or videos, and you decide to change system, remove the card, okay, place a new one, because otherwise it will get formatted and you will lose everything that was in there, okay? It also do panoramic pictures. I'll show you one here. And it has effects, okay, typical effects, because many people are going to use that kind of camera without wanting to export the picture to a computer. They want things done straight away. Obviously those raw files, you can do raw format, JPEG obviously, but raw format no problem. But for people who don't want to bother with editing raw, they have effects like watercolors, color pop, and many things I never use, but some people like it. And you also have styles. If you want to do black and white pictures, sunset, portrait, sepia, all this, you also have this straight from the camera. So if you work in JPEG, it may interest you. You can do it. If you speak about focusing, okay, obviously you have the option of manual focus, but if we look at autofocus, it is an hybrid system with the phase detection and contrast detection, and the speed is really good. I mean, you get 179 points. And I must say that the speed is really okay in daytime. When you go to low light, you have the same problem as with the ISO. Then it's not as fast, because it detects from -1 EV to +20 EV. So in low light, it's not, the autofocus is not as good. But in daytime, it's really fine. You also have phase detection, and the phase detect, it works. It's not as fast as the latest Sony face and eye detection. This one has face detection, but it works. That's okay. If we speak about the flash, as you could saw before, it's you have a small flash incorporated, but no hot shoe, so it will limit you as soon as you're going to want to put an external flash or flash on your camera, on external flash with the trigger. That will not be possible. Obviously, you can use a slave mode, and when the camera sees the lighting, the flash works. I mean, when your flash sees the lighting of your camera, it will work, but it's not ideal. You need to have sight of view, all this. And also this flash is only TTL, you don't have manual mode, so it means you're not going to do exactly what you want. You have to stick to manual. You have to stick to TTL, and the maximum synchro speed is 1/160th of a second. So I think this is a bit short, well, I think this camera is not thought for that, okay, so that's okay. The screen, as I say, is touchable. The quality is really poor in my opinion. I think it's poor today, it was poor when it came out. And the problem is that poor quality screen for me is not a problem, because for me a screen is just for checking what you've done quickly, you know, for like framing, things like this. But when you don't have a proper viewfinder or any viewfinder, then the screen is your viewfinder. So you need something that is okay, it's in bright light, all this, that works okay. I think this screen is low quality compared to what you get today. But well, for the price this camera costs, you cannot ask for too much, and also it's 7 years old, so you cannot ask either for too much, okay? I miss a microphone connector. This is something I never understood, why they put a flip-up screen 180 degrees to do some vlogging, they tell you, and then you don't have a proper microphone connector. Same thing with the Alpha 6000. On the Alpha 6100, yes, they fixed it, but on the Alpha 6000 you don't have any, same thing, you don't have a microphone connector jack, okay? So I think this is a pity, okay? But well, this is what there is for the price. I think it's I don't know how much it cost when it came out, but for the price you can find it today, I think this is fine for what they offer. So what else can I say about this camera? I think the image quality is there, it's okay. I've shown you some picture, it was okay. Not that many because it was raining, I could not make as many pictures I wanted. But now for my conclusion, I'm going to give you the pros and cons. I'm going to start with the cons. I think this camera is limited. It's limited in the way that the way to use it, you don't have enough buttons to have a quick use, so it really forces you very often, for most people, to work in semi-automatic, automatic, or aperture priority or speed priority. But if you want to fine-tune your exposure in manual all the time, this is not practical, okay? The flash is only TTL. They could have put manual mode also, okay? I don't know why they didn't do it, but well, okay. And I think it's really no good with low light. So if you think of buying this camera for traveling and make the typical picture in low light on the street at night or this, I don't think this is the right camera for you, okay? Same thing if you want to do really portrait with flash and things like this, is not the camera either. If you want to do fashion books and things like that, that's no good, okay? And it lacks the viewfinder. But if you think of it, if you had a hot shoe, a flash hot shoe, and also a viewfinder, then that would be like an Alpha A6000. So I understand they limited it to not overlap the other camera, okay? The pros. I think the price, right now the price is really good. The weight is really fine, and the size, it means if you want to actually use a stick, a selfie stick for the camera, it's good to have a small size and a little weight. That's okay because it will balance better. I think that's a good option. I like the tile menu. So Sony menus are a bit complicated. Well, nothing comparing to an Olympus menu that is a nightmare that I actually use, but it's not as nice as a Canon menu that is really simple. But well, I think this style is okay. I would say that what I like about the camera is if you're really on a tight budget and you cannot afford anything more than this, it gives you access to some lenses, many lenses, okay, not just by Sony but other some third-party brands, and it means that if you cannot afford a better or higher, I would say better in this case, camera like an Alpha 6100 or 6400, you could start with that and start making pictures and buy some extra lenses, a couple of lenses, bit by bit, or Sigma lenses that they made for this mount, okay? And in a couple of years time, or before, when you can afford it, then you go for a higher level. But you have been able to build your system. This is a way of thinking I don't really especially like, to say start with this and then think about your next camera. I like to buy a camera and use it until it dies. But in this case, if you're on a tight budget, you have to make some sacrifice, okay? So you have to accept some limitation. What would be the other option than this camera, okay? Well, in mirrorless, you don't have that much options. If you look at reflex, then you have a Canon T100, which is the 4000D, or T7, which is T7 is the 2000D, or a Nikon D3500. But if you look in mirrorless, there are some options, some compact camera, but you will probably end up with something similar or smaller sensor, things like this. So really, for the price they ask, I cannot ask for more. So, and it's also 7 years old now. So really, I think today in 2021, for the price they ask, this is a good option with many limitations, but this is a good option to start with, or as a second camera in your pocket when you go around on Sunday or traveling or things like this. Okay, so yes, for that concept I would recommend. But if you can afford to jump to Alpha 6100, if we speak about Sony, then I would jump to higher quality. More features, better things. I would go for the 6100. But if you cannot afford it, no problem with this camera. Well, thank you very much, Photosura, for lending me the camera. Thank you to you for watching the video. If you feel it may interest other people, please share it on social networks. If you have not done yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's a small button down here and also a small bell. If you click on the bell, you get notified when I upload a new video. My website, ericgibaud.com. If you have any question, can leave a comment below. Also put your links of my gear on Amazon, links to other part of my YouTube channel, also a link to my PayPal account in case you want to make a donation. Thank you very much, take care of yourself, and see you soon. Bye.